I'm not Pasolini asking for explanations. I'm not Ginsberg expelled from Cuba. I'm not a fag disguised as a poet. I don't need a disguise. Here is my face. I speak for my difference. I defend what I am. And I'm not so strange. Injustice stinks. And I suspect this democratic dance, but don't speak to me of the proletariat. Because to be poor and queer is worse. One must be tough to withstand it. It is to avoid the mosquitoes on the street corner. It is a father that hates you because his son is a queen. It is to have a mother whose hands are slashed by bleach, aged from cleaning, cradling you as if you were ill because of bad habits, because of bad luck. Like the dictatorship, worse than the dictatorship, because the dictatorship ends and democracy comes, and right behind it, socialism. And then what? What will you do to us, Campanero? Will you tie us into bales by our braids, destined to arrive in some AIDS-ridden quarter of Cuba? Put us on some train to nowhere, like General Ibanez's ship, where we learned to swim. Although no one reached the shore, that is why Valparaiso turned off its red lamps. That is why the whorehouses offered a black teardrop to the queens that had been eaten by lobsters in that year that the Human Rights Commission doesn't remember. That's why, Campanero, I ask you, does the Siberian train of reactionary propaganda still exist? That train that passes across your eyes when my voice becomes too sweet. And you? What will you do with those memories of us as children wanking each other? Amongst other things, on holiday, in Cartagena? Will the future be black and white, day and night, without ambiguity? Won't there be a fag on some street corner, destabilizing the future of your new man? Will you let us embroider birds onto the flag of the free fatherland? I will leave the rifle for you, the cold-blooded one. And it's not that I'm afraid. The fear wore away, used to blocking knives in the sexual underground where I used to be. And don't feel offended if I speak to you of these things and look at your package. I am not a hypocrite. Don't a woman's tits make you lower your eyes? Don't you think that all alone, up in the ranges, we might have gotten up to something? Although you would hate me later for corrupting your revolutionary morality, are you afraid of life becoming homosexual? And I'm not talking about putting it in and taking it out, and only taking it out and putting it back in. I'm talking about tenderness, Campanero. You don't know how hard it is to find love under these conditions. You don't know what it is to deal with this leprosy. People keep their distance. People understand and say, he's a fag, but he writes well. He's a fag, but he's a good friend. Really cool. I'm not cool. I accept the world without asking for coolness. But they laugh anyway. I have scars on my back from being laughed at. You think that I think with my ass? And that with the first electroshock from the CNI, I was going to spill it out? Don't you know that my manhood wasn't learnt in the barracks? My manhood was taught to me by the night, behind a street post. The manhood that you boast about was stuffed into you at the regiment, a military killer, like those who are still in power. My manhood wasn't given to me by the party because they rejected me with laughter many times. I learned my manhood by participating in the toughness of those times. And they laughed at my fag voice, yelling, "And it will fall, and it will fall." And although you yell like a man, you haven't been able to make him leave. My manhood was the gag. It wasn't going to the stadium and starting a fight for Colo Colo. Football is another hidden homosexuality, like boxing, politics, and wine. My manhood was to bear the mockery, eating rage in order not to kill everyone. My manhood is to accept myself as different. To be a coward is much harder. I don't turn the other cheek. Instead, I present my ass, compañero. And that is my vengeance. My manhood waits patiently for the machos to get old. Because at this stage of the game, the left sells its flaccid ass in the parliament. My manhood was difficult. That's why I'm not getting onto this train without knowing where it will go. I will not change for Marxism that rejected me so many times. I don't need to change. I am more subversive than you. I will not change. Because of the rich and the poor. Try that on somebody else. Nor will I change because capitalism is unjust. In New York, fags kiss on the street. But I'll leave that to you, who is so interested. The revolution must not rot entirely. I'm giving this message to you. And it's not because of me. I am old. And your utopia is for future generations. There are so many children that will be born with a broken wing. And I want them to fly, compañero. And that is your revolution. Gives them a red piece of the heavens so that they might fly.